You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Well, it's January 23rd. We first introduced you to the God Bless America ETF, ticker symbol YALL, Y-A-L-L. Back in October, it's performed extremely well, beating the major indices and many other stock measures as well. The founder, Adam Curran, back with us again. Adam, congratulations on the release of the fund.
Thank you. Thank you for shining a light on my little American dream.
All right. So tell us what's happened since.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, you know. I remember I took a trip to the New York Stock Exchange when I was like 8 years old, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. I didn't know a stock from a bond, but I was just intoxicated with the place. And I knew right there and then I wanted to be in the money business, and I wanted a piece of the New York Stock Exchange. So launching an exchange traded fund on the big board is a dream, a lifelong dream realized. We're going to be ringing the bell on the New York Stock Exchange in the coming days here. And you know, the bigger thing is I never thought I would be launching a fund that is apparently in the middle of the culture wars. I just thought it was a shrewd investment thesis to invest in companies that weren't going woke. I just thought it was wise for us to put investors' capital into companies that are not going out of their way, making political and social activist statements and offending 49 to 51% of their potential customers and their employees and their shareholders. So really, when we created our fund, it was an investment philosophy. It was, hey, let's buy wonderful businesses that focus on businesses, that focus on business and put profits above politics and put profits above activism. And when I look at the performance our fund has realized since its launch, I'm thrilled. I think that investment philosophy is being proven as we speak. But it's funny how all of the media has picked up on our fund. And go figure, Kerry, I appreciate platforms like this because I get to actually talk to people face to face. Typically, when all these other big major financial news outlets want to talk to me, they'll do a 30-minute interview with me. And then they'll just cherry pick the one dumb thing that they can isolate. And then they call our fund thematic and unenlightened. And it's for all of the unsophisticated, idiot conservative people out there who still believe in the American dream is alive and well and who love our country and are sick and tired of putting their money in ESG factor investments.
So you think the American dream is still alive?
I do. I think, quite frankly, it's never been easier because there's so many people lining up to play victim. I think there's so many individuals out here who have bright futures or being bounced on their parent or their grandparent's knee, being told that the world is unjust and capital markets are unfair and the little guy can't get ahead. So call me old-fashioned, call me flag-wavy. I think the American dream is alive and well. And I also think the tides are changing, Kerry. I think a couple years ago, companies were getting away with being woke, bold-face in the face of God-fearing, flag-waving conservative people who were basically, their values were getting trounced on. And these companies said, tough, I don't care what you think. You're going to buy my product whether you like it or not. You're going to invest in my stock no matter what because your money's in an index fund. And they were literally trying to force feed it onto 401ks now with ESG factors being factored into 401ks. And I see a tide changing. I see more companies. There's several companies in our fund that have actually come out and said, we will no longer comment on political and social activist issues. We are not going to comment on that because we are a business. And our job is to grow our customer base, delight our customers, and produce products and services that separate humanity from their money and grow our stock's price. More and more companies, Kerry, are coming out and saying that. And I like to think my little tiny ETF might have had something to do with that.
Oh, that would be a nice thing. So, hey, so what do you think the future is here? At this rate, you could be the largest ETF on Wall Street if you keep going.
Yeah, right. I have no ulterior motives to do that, but I think it's going to take 100 more people just like me, and probably more eloquent and more sophisticated than me. I just know I listen to my clients. I had multiple conversations at my planning table with individuals, and they said, "Hey, I want to invest in the markets, but I will be darned if my money goes into XYZ company or ABC company. Do you see what they just said about the Georgia election reform bill? They called it Jim Crow 2.0. Did you hear what ABC company said about Florida's parental rights in education? They called it the Don't Say Gay bill." And so I was in a pickle because I said, "Hey, it's really hard to avoid these businesses because they're in every single darn ETF and index fund." So we created our own index fund. We make sure we invest in companies that are, or excuse me, or we create our own ETF. Make sure we're not investing in companies that my clients are going to have to hold their nose to own. And like I said, we've been launched now for about 3 months. I would employ anyone who's listened to this to look at the holdings inside of our fund, and you'll notice it's a bundle of high quality comfort food businesses that you should feel comfortable owning for decades, and also look at the performance and track that performance. This isn't a hedge fund. We're not trying to outperform the market in and out, year in and year out. It's been doing well yet so far. Really, what we're trying to do is just kind of replicate the big indices and own a bunch of businesses that people can feel good about owning rather than investing in businesses that hate them.
All right. Well, I think that's a great thing. And hey, before you know it, it'll be fashionable again, thanks to you, Adam, to invest in energy companies like oil and natural gas producers who've been having a real bad time with the ESG, banks cutting them off, et cetera.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people think our fund, because there are a couple funds like that. I think of Vivek Ramaswamy with Strive. They created an oil and gas fund. He's kind of doing the same thing that we're doing, but he's getting put on the like Tucker Carlson and stuff. Like I said, we need 100 more just like us out here fighting, letting people know that God-fearing, flag-waving conservative people have a voice too, and we're going to exercise it with our investments. Our fund, though, we weight the holdings according to the overall market cap weighting, right? So energy only represents about 3 to 4% of our fund. I think sometimes people think they hear God Bless America ETF, they hear anti-ESG, and they think it's just full of like energy companies and ammo. Our fund is weighted very similar to the major market indices. So 20% of it's in technology, 13% of it's in healthcare, 11% in financials. But absolutely, energy is getting its day in the sun over the course of the last year.
All right. So you think the death of energy eclipsed by solar and wind and geothermal and who knows?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Osino Resources is a Ross Beatty-backed gold exploration company in mining-friendly Namibia. Osino's district-scale land package is situated near 2 producing gold mines, one of which Osino's management team previously developed and sold to B2 Gold. Osino's founders and management are experienced mining professionals who have already successfully developed and sold 2 companies in the past 7 years. Osino has an excellent shareholder base with Ross Beatty owning 20%, insiders 5%, and Resource Capital Funds 8%. This is an exploration company with drills turning that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Osino trades in New York under the ticker OSIIF and in Toronto under the ticker OSI. To learn more, go to osinoresources.com. That's osinoresources.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
You know what's funny? We actually, unfortunately, we actually had some clients move on to greener pastures when we launched the fund. And a couple of them kind of said, "Hey, Adam, I didn't realize you had these beliefs, and I don't know what beliefs I have. I just believe companies should stay in their darn lane and not comment on activist issues." But they were triggered because they read between the lines and they realized I vote with my right hand. But one gentleman in particular I'm thinking of kind of went on a tirade about, "Adam, I told you when we first started working together, I wanted to invest in, electric vehicles and green energy, and you created this God Bless America ETF, and I don't agree with it. Well, our biggest holding in our fund is Tesla. So not all God-fearing, flag-waving conservatives want to pollute the earth and drill for oil on every piece of land. Like, we believe in forward thinking and disruptive technology just as much as people on the left. There's certainly a value proposition conversation that could be had there. Some of our energy names in the fund have been outperforming others. But I want people to know that you shouldn't have to walk around in shame as a conservative and measure every word that comes out of your mouth because you're worried about being banished from polite society. And that's what I'm happy to come out here and spurt that out. And I'm happy to get ridiculed for it. Because I know what I'm standing for is the truth, and it's within commonsensical American values type approach to investing, and that is invest your money in businesses that focus on business and not activism and not political pursuits and not woke stuff.
Sure. And that makes complete sense. And I think all of you out there are fed up with the wokester nonsense. You see big companies go woke, go broke. Disney right now is in trouble. Florida basically told them, you know what? You shouldn't be your own government anymore. We're going to take back that power from you. And they revoked their special governmental status. Effectively, the Disney Corporation became its own master in Disney World.
Did that go through?
Orlando.
Did that finalize? I remember they were talking about it.
That's finalized. That was done. Now the state is in the process of, because they were able to actually issue discounted debt because it was municipal debt and tax-free. And the state is in the process right now. There's a bill pending in Tallahassee to actually put back the debt that they took out to finance operations there and put it back on Disney. And they're none too happy about it. And that should be a lesson to any company that, you know what, you guys work on making money honestly, legally, and ethically, and you leave the business of government to the people and to their elected representatives. And I would love to see that happen, that trend be embraced across the country. And it doesn't matter what your politics are. You don't want companies with unlimited treasuries paying money to basically go against your will, or even if it's things that you want. You don't want them directly intervening in the political process, especially
on the left or the right. You bring up a good point, Kerry. It's on the left or the right, and I agree with that. I don't want this staunch conservative dictating the narrative of everything either. Disney's an interesting one because typically people on the left don't like multi-generational wealth, and they also don't like big corporations getting better deals than little corporations. Yet with Disney, they love it, right? So Abigail Disney, the great niece of Walt Disney, is marching out there, was the most fervent opponent of Florida's parental rights and education bill, calling it the Don't Say Gay bill. And everyone was like, yeah, Abigail Disney, we love you, even though she's part of the Fortunate Sperm Club. And then, of course, people will go, well, Disney's going to take their Mickey Mouse and put them in a box and go someplace else, and Florida's going to be up a creek. And, folks in Florida turn around and go, well, why doesn't Legoland and SeaWorld and all these other wonderful theme parks get the same deal Disney got? And there's no answer to it. Disney was given something that no one else got. And all of a sudden, left-leaning people become the biggest fans of the Fortunate Sperm Club of the world and the big corporations. So you're right there on the battlegrounds of it all.
Yeah, well, leave it to Florida. But the Reedy Creek Authority just should have never happened. It's called the Reedy Creek Improvement District. And, it was formed in 1967. Look, Disney was coming here regardless because they saw the handwriting on the wall. They knew the trend, demographic trends, all of that. Plus, in a southern theme park, you can be open year round and you can't in the north. So, but it finally got dissolved. It was a good move. It should have never been allowed. And I would hope, Adam, that you don't invest in companies that get governmental perks and subsidies and undue. You could argue that Tesla has, but look, the big car companies get way more subsidies and perks than little old Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla's an interesting one, because Joe Biden is trying everything with his Twitter handle to poo-poo Tesla every chance he gets, even though they're one of the metrics that we use in compiling our portfolio is how many American jobs the company created. And, Tesla has literally, Elon Musk is awfully controversial. He's in the news every day, somehow became like the greatest proponent of free speech and the greatest champion of free speech.
Figure.
But literally like bet it all on Tesla and has disrupted one of the largest American institutions out there and has created a tremendous amount of American jobs along the way. But because none of those jobs are union jobs, Joe Biden hates them. It's a weird deal. And I just know, companies are allowed to run their business the way they want to run it, right? So if you want to be hyper woke, that's your prerogative, right? If you want to offer unique benefits to your employees, that's your prerogative. But as soon as we see you starting to delve in the waters of political and social activism, I don't think you're a wise company for us to deploy capital into any longer. So that's the basis of our fund. And I truly believe this is a trend. I know a lot of people who vote with the right hand feel good about owning our fund because they want to invest with their, vote with their investments. But I truly believe that the performance that you've seen from our fund yet so far, I think it'll continue because I think more and more people, moderates, even wise left-leaning people, recognize that some of these businesses went out of their way and got involved in arguments and conflicts that they had no business wading into the waters of.
Absolutely. And that's every political issue, right or left. Keep the companies out. And really, they shouldn't be able to lobby. And that's another thing. If they've got huge lobbying exposure, man, I don't want to know about the company because they're not really making money the good old-fashioned American way. They're using the government to increase their fortunes. And the government, way it was originally conceived of in the United States, to be strictly a referee, make sure that we're protected from enemies within and without, that fraud is prosecuted, that disputes among citizens are peaceably settled, and to protect the free market. Well, you don't see much of that going on now. Hey, I'm going to create a apple pie manufacturing facility. Do you think you guys can invest in me?
You got to have a $1 billion market cap. So you better be intent on selling a lot of apple pies or create a cryptocurrency token. You could get to $1 billion pretty quickly that way, I'm sure, too.
Well, maybe I'll borrow some market cap. How's that?
Good luck with that. But we'll think about it. I tell you what, I can tell you'll focus on business and cranking out delicious apple pies and growing a customer base. So if you do all those things and you get your market cap up to $1 billion, we'll strongly consider you. All
right. Well, now I got something to work for. Anyways, the name of the fund is God Bless America ETF. The ticker symbol is YALL, YALL. Hey, you've got a question for Adam, shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com, and make sure you sign up for your free newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Adam, pleasure. Glad things are going so well. Keep up the great work. We'll talk to you again soon.
Kerry, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.